Hello everyone, I'm First Lieutenant Lee and I will be briefing the ROTC SMP. A little about myself. I enlisted in the Army back in 2019 and I graduated and commissioned as an officer in the US Army in 2022. And hopefully my experience and my knowledge help you make a better decision into going into ROTC SMP. Quick disclaimer, all of this is my personal experience and take my advice with a grain of salt. All right, what is ROTC SMP? So, out of all the branches, the US Army is the only branch to offer the Reserve Officer Training Corps Simultaneous Membership Program. What is this about? So, while you are attending college, full-time student, and also doing the ROTC program, you are also in the US Army Reserves. But instead of working in the reserves, you are shadowing an officer. So, like an internship, foreshadowing what you're going to be doing after you graduate college. All right, so timeline. I put a couple of timelines out here. There's a million different ways you can go about getting a ROTC SMP contract. So, first option, this applies to most of the people I've talked to. They apply to colleges with the Army ROTC program. So make sure to do your research. And then they graduate at high school, enlisted in the reserves with any job they could get, and then they finish basic training in AIT. The job you get in reserve does not matter at all because you're not going to be doing it once you are in the SMP contract. Once they graduated the advanced individual training and basic training, they enroll in college full time while attending the US Army Reserves. And then to get out of the reserve unit, to get out of that contract, you need a DD 214. So you have to talk with your chain of command once you graduate and go into the reserves. Hey, I want to become an officer. And this is the pathway for you. And then you sign the ROTC contract with SMP and you're good. Second option, you graduate high school, you enlist, you come back, and then you apply to colleges. And then you go to college with the program and then transition. And then third option, this happened to me. I attended college with Army ROTC. I dropped out. I enlisted in the reserves, came back to my hometown, and my NCO at the time told me to become an officer, go back to college, and do ROTC. And I was like, okay. So I went back to college while working in the reserves. My NCO and my entire chain of command was all for me getting that contract. I got my DD 214, and then I started a new contract with the Army ROTC with SMP, and the rest is history. What are the benefits? You are put in that non deployable status. So when you are in the reserves or active duty or National Guard, there's always a chance for you to deploy. And once you sign the ROTC contract, as a cadet, you are non deployable. Second, you become more competitive to compete for an active duty slot. So if you don't know what ROTC is basically, it stands for Reserve Officer Training Corps. So you're competing for to become a reserve officer. That's guaranteed. But there's a select amount of active duty slots that the cadets have to compete for, and the top percentage gets active duty. And if you have the knowledge of the most basic fundamental task in the army, you become more competitive and you become more knowledgeable about what you're actually doing in your uh, cadet job. And then while you are doing all of this college, ROTC, and reserves, you're getting paid as an E5. So back when I was doing it, I was getting paid around $500 per month on top of all my tuition covered and all of that. And your time in service starts sooner. This is the most important part that I don't think anyone realizes. So when you look at the basic pay, this is a chart. At the bottom is the second lieutenants. So they're fresh out of college and they're working full time. They have 2 or less years in the army, and this is their pay, right? But if you enlisted and then graduated, let's say right here, you've been enlisted for over 3 years, you're getting paid over $1,000 difference with the same rank. So you're getting paid over 1,000 per month compared to your peers, right? And this just keeps increasing as you promote and stay in the army over a longer period of time, right? So this is the most important fact out of all of this to me that people need to take advantage of. The cons, well, there's only one con, in my opinion, is taking time off for basic training and AIT. So I recommend talking with the recruiter, getting a timeline going, what it is right for you, and taking a semester off of college or 2 semesters and going to basic training and AIT. Get all your paperwork and medical documents all sorted out. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll answer them to my best ability. And thank you for watching.